Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. My updated Buy It for Life kit. These are items that, because of the warranty, the build quality, the longevity of the company, or any combination of the aforementioned, these are the type of items I think that you can buy once, cry once maybe because of the pricing, but I think you're going to like them for life. First, let's start off with the knife. We're going to talk about the Spyderco Shaman, but specifically the salt version. Now, many of the salt versions of the Spyderco series all could really work into this Buy It for Life. I just really like the way the Shaman salt feels. It is rocking on bronze washers instead of ceramic ball bearings. Less likely your pivots get gunked up with something. If and when you ever have to tear it down, it won't be as complicated. Also, because of the CPM Magna Cut blade steel, it is virtually corrosive resistant. And then you got G10 scales, which although through the life of this knife, chipping is probably going to happen of the G10. But when it comes to corrosion, you're going to have to worry about that in like the very slightest of ways. This is specifically designed to be around water. Now, let's just say nowadays you're not the person that's normally around water. You're not a fisherman. You don't hunt, you don't leave your stuff around dew, you don't go out on boats or whatever. But there could be a day when that does happen, or you may develop over the life use of your knife that you determine that that does begin to happen and you want to just have a knife that's going to be good for that. The biggest thing I don't like about this knife and a lot of Spyderco knives, there's not really a good sharpening choil on there. There's a high likelihood if you decide to sharpen this knife yourself that you may create a smiley face when you're sharpening it. Pretty easy to kind of create one or send this in the Spyderco, let them take care of it. Made in America, fantastic knife, easy to use. I think that the snappiness of this, the way it feels after the purchase of this, you're going to feel very confident that you made a great Buy It for Life decision, even if it does cost you well over 200 bucks. Next, we got to talk about is the Streamlight. This is the Polytac 1X, built to mil specs rather. This thing is very, very well made. You can run over it with your truck, vehicle. It has a pocket clip which can be removed, but the pocket clip is static, so it doesn't move around in your pocket. You're always going to know exactly where it is when you put it in your pocket. I like the fact that this thing has, although it's only max 500 lumens out of this, if you're using a specific type of battery, it is very well made. It feels good in the pocket. It's kind of big for the pocket, but I'm going to give you an alternative for another Buy It for Life or something bigger. But I like it because this is going to be your do-all flashlight. So are you going to be able to take this to the gym or all the way with you hunting? Yeah, you're going to be able to do all this with it. And this is a tri-fuel source flashlight. You can either buy it with the SLB9 battery, which is proprietary to Streamlight, which gives you the most output, uses USB Type-C, or you can also power it with CR123A batteries, which are not proprietary to Streamlight. Third-party manufacturers buy these, and you can see a little bit of size difference on these and just the width and the output. They're a little bit different. And in a pinch, you can also use 14500 batteries or AA batteries. So this thing is very versatile. It can do all three of these with no issues whatsoever. I like that about this. And so not only you're going to have usefulness of all of those, you're not going to get the same output on a AA as you will get on the SLB9 battery. But the fact is, if you are somewhere and your battery dies, the fact that you can just swap this thing out makes a lot of sense. It is built like a tank. Okay. I wanted to put on my Buy It for Life listing a flashlight that had a user replaceable battery, has a good warranty with Streamlight. And at the end of the day, this is the type of flashlight you can program it to use it exactly how you want to. And it's going to just be super well built and very, very durable, something that you won't be completely okay with. And it's going to cost you less than 100 bucks. Now, today's video sponsor, Ver, brings us the C4 Tactical Field Watch, which is my Buy It for Life choice for a couple of reasons. First of all, this is powered by light. My studio lights, the sunlight. This thing is powered. That's how it actually charges the battery that's inside of this. Using a quartz movement, it's very, very easy to read. Big watch face, superior lume on this. You're going to be able to see this at night very, very easily. You can recharge that real quickly with a UV light if you have that in part of your kit as well. And it has this fantastic bezel and a good clicky bezel, but you might want to use this bezel for a number of reasons. Of course, you can use it while diving to know how long you've been underwater. But if you want to just know how long passage of time, right? So I move that bezel over to the minute hand. And as time passes, it gets closer to the 4, lets me know it's been there 20 minutes. You want to be at the park for only 20 minutes, use the bezel for that. You want to be able to just know when a passage of time has happened while cooking or something like that, use the bezel for that. I like this NATO pass-through strap. You can get this plus another strap that comes with it. Very well made. And with this 10 atmospheres pressure, USA assembled, this is one of, if not my favorite field watch at the moment. Shout out to Veer for sponsoring today's video. And this is an easy recommendation for Buyer for Life, especially with their warranty and craftsmanship. You're going to like that a ton. So you're wondering, we're talking about stuff assembled or made in America. Well, we got another one that's assembled in America. It's not fully made in America, but this is the Leatherman Wave Alpha. Now, barely more affordable than the Leatherman Arc. I think that you might be able to catch this on a sale. Save yourself the 50 bucks, save yourself even more. I think that this might be a more viable option for you. The Arc is probably the way I would lean to it, but the reason I like this is because it does have G10 scales, which over the years, they do feel a little bit better in your hand than the Arc. I own both of them. Now, both of these are using a Magna Cut blade. The Magna Cut blade on here is going to be fantastic if you are using this multi-tool and you don't even want to carry a knife that day. This thing is going to be practically corrosion resistant, and you're going to be able to easily regain a working edge on this knife if you need to. And it's just going to be very durable, easy for use, and all of that good stuff. Has a great tool set on it. It has some of the best scissors I've seen on a multi-tool. You know, one of the things that made me revisit the Wave Alpha was the scissors. You know, I compared it to a recent pair of Victorinox multi-tools that I had, and I'm just so used to like Victorinox having God tier scissors, and this one actually kind of like disappointed me a little bit because the length of the scissors just wasn't quite what I thought they were going to be, and it actually made me appreciate what Leatherman was doing here when it came to the scissors on the Wave Alpha. So these are is a great set of multi-tools. The reason I also wanted to select it is because you're going to get access to Leatherman's bits with this. And so you're going to have the ability, get inside of this bad boy and load up some bits and use those in a number of ways on different projects. You can always buy these relatively cheap. They're $40 full price, but you can get them on sale. They were like $25 or $20 on Prime Day just a few weeks ago. Great tool set. You know, you do have things such as can openers. You have a wire stripper built into the bottom of that can opener. Of course, the bit driver, which I've already showed you. And then on the other side, you're going to get a pry bar / slotted screwdriver, a micro bit driver, and then you kind of have an awl built in with a reaming tool. So you have an option of all of that. So just very well made with these replaceable cutters, pliers. This is a really good multi-tool. If you're looking to save money, maybe I would actually consider getting the Leatherman Surge. It won't have the same Magna Cut, but you're going to save at least 50 bucks if you get the Surge. But I like this a lot. This one also, I've upgraded and bought a different sheath for it. Matter of fact, you don't even get a sheath when you buy this. So I got a sheath for it on Amazon just to be able to house it. Very nice. And I like it because you can pass this over a belt or however you want to put this on your kit. The Proof Wallet. The Proof Wallet I keep revisiting and coming back to because of the warranty. There are a lot of wallets that I like a ton. This one, they're giving you this "my dog ate my homework" type of warranty. If you lose this wallet and you can prove that you bought it in the past via your receipt or an email or whatever, they'll just send you another one. If you completely destroy it because of your own making, you're at the rifle range and somehow magically this thing ends up downrange and you shoot it, they'll send you another one. If it is stolen, like I say, proof that you bought it, they'll give you another one. I like that. It also can hold up to 25 cards in the main area, probably more if you really feel like stuffing them in there. So if you're the type of person who likes to carry a lot of shit, you're going to be able to have all your cards. You can do up to 20 notes in this cash strap area back here. I don't have quite so many back here because I am using a tracker card alongside this, but you don't have to worry about if the threading starts to come loose, if it becomes all worn out, just hit them up. It's a Marine owned, it's actually veteran owned company. I like how well made these are. You can change these plates out. Mine originally came with brass. You can go to their website, buy different aluminum plates, and just slap these on here. Full grain leather, top of the line wallets. I really like the way these things are made. So buy once, cry once on that easily. Let's just talk about the fact I think you really should own your own pin. This is the Wingback Journeyman pin. It's going to cost you a good amount of money. You should buy a pin, whether it's this one or something from Tactile Turn or Big Idea Design. But you're going to have moments in your life when you have very momentous or just very important events. And sometimes having a pin that you can pick up and remember those moments are going to be important. Whether you're signing a birth certificate or you're receiving a death certificate to someone you love, you're signing a deed to a house, or you're even just signing something momentous, like if you just got a big contract on something, having your own pin is going to remind you of those things. This one is milled out of one piece of steel. They have different versions of this on their website. You can use common refills on this now. If you want something from Parker or Pilot, G2, all that type of stuff, it all fits in here. It just works really, really well. The knurling on here is God tier. Makes it easy to write for daily writers. If you're not a daily writer, you probably shouldn't spend that much on this pen. It's going to cost you well over $200. If you're kind of a casual, maybe look for something from Bastion or Tactile Turn. Those are around the 59 to 120 bucks. But whatever you do, get yourself a pen. I think you're going to like it a lot. That's the one I recommend, though, if you're looking for my specific choice. We're going to talk about keys, specifically the key bar system. Okay. Key bar system, they have this incredibly strong magnet, which can hold up to 20 pounds, right? And then they also have their key bar key system, able to hold just a good amount of keys in here. Now, mine's looking real clustered right now because I do have a USB-C stick in here. But let me just move my USB-C stick out the way, right? To give you a more of imagination what it would look like if it was just your keys. Okay, so you see how much neater that is without the USB-C stick junking it all up. I like this because it holds a good chunk of keys. I think you can do up to 12. You can also buy their tools from their website and then keep tools inside of this. The only thing I keep inside of mine is a slotted screwdriver pry bar combination with a actual bottle cap lifter. It also has this here so I can grab hold of a nut or a bolt if I really needed to and begin to unscrew it, but it's extremely hard to use. So whatevs, I don't use that. It has a little file on it as well, but I mean, who the heck is using this file? It's not really usable. So I think that and it's made of titanium. So it's going to be very durable. It has a little bit of measurement on here if you needed to know like how big 1/8 of an inch is or 1/4 of an inch or whatever. So a little bit of measurements on here as well. But I like the key bar system. They're made in America. They're very slimline. If you get it with their magnet, you're going to be able to keep it on your more bulky keys, such as like I have my key fob here. So this is just a very well-made system. I'm a big old fan of this. This would be one of those things that I've had a key bar of some type in my pocket for 5 years off and on. If I'm testing out another key system, yeah, I don't obviously wouldn't have this in my pocket, but for the most part, key bar over the last 5 years has been my go-to, and I like the craftsmanship of it. I think they're very, very well made. Now, let's just say you don't necessarily always want to carry a folding pocket knife in your pocket sometimes, or you want to have just a very durable fixed blade for an emergency, whittling, camping, whatever. The Blackfoot 2.0 from Montana Knife Company is going to be an easy recommendation. USA made Magna Cut blade steel. These things have fantastic fat G10 scales. They're going to fill out your hand well. You can mallet these. The only thing I think I wish I had on this one is a little bit of jimping back here to keep my finger from slipping up the spine of the blade. But I think they may have even changed that. I've had this one for a couple of years. I would just say that this is a great EDC knife if you're okay with carrying it on your belt. It's not really going to fit in your pocket very well. It's going to be a great little camping knife, companion knife. It comes with a great Kydex sheath. It comes with the ability to slip it through a belt. You can get an Alti clip or a discreet carry clip, but I don't think those make sense on this platform because it is a little bit larger. You really wouldn't put this in your pocket. I guess you could put an Alti clip on some Molly or on your bag or whatever, but very well made. This is going to be one of those knives that you can keep, pass it down. And these are readily available on their website, unlike some of their other models, which are just harder to get your hands on. 10,000 lumen output on this Phoenix LR35R Pro. LR stands for long range. I wanted to show you this because it's going to include a UV light on this. It's also going to include a red light on this. It has a different beam patterns on it. So you can get a big old flood mode. You can get a spot beam. You can get a spot. You can get a flood spot mix. They have like different color temperatures on each of these. I think this is just a very well made light, easy to turn the temperature or turn the light up and down with this dial they have on here. Like literally makes it easy for you to just move this around as you see fit. It also has a UV light on here. So, and it has a very strong, well-made UV light, which can do like a 10-foot room. It can, this UV light will light the whole thing up. It's very strong. It also has a red light on here if you want to be able to use that to not completely just destroy your night vision. So you can use that. So this is just a very good light. I like what they've done with this. I like the fact that this is using two 21700 batteries, so you can just swap them out. They're not proprietary to Phoenix. It's a big flashlight. It's a great flashlight. Keep in the cab of your vehicle. I think that that's going to be something that you're very, very happy with. Water bottles. Okay, so there's a lot of different water bottles. You can get the Walla's, the Stanleys. Those are all cool, all great. But I'm thinking about something that you can use not only as a daily water bottle, which I do with this Grail titanium 24-ounce water bottle, but you can also use this in an emergency situation because it does include a water filter inside. So you're going to have the option, you're going to have the ability, you can fill this thing up, but 300 presses you get out of this water filtration system. So you can take this out, and the thing about it is you fill this up, well, make sure the filter stays attached, but you can fill this up from creek water, stream water, whatever. And then you can just literally take it, take this, the water that you fill up. There's a fill line inside of here. You stop there, and then you can press this through. Make sure you take the lid off because it's a lot easier to do with the lid off. You can press this through, and you can drink that water immediately. 99% of just parasites, microtoxins, all that type of stuff. This is going to cost you a bunch of money, but it's a buy for life, and you can use this for cooking. So this is made of titanium. So in an emergency situation, you can set this directly in fire. You can hover it above fire on a rock. You can boil, make stew, whatever. It's a great survival type of system. So that's going to be fantastic for all of that type of stuff. So those are my choices for Buy It for Life for now. This is just some incredible gear that I've had the opportunity to use over the past few years or even few months because this Streamlight just got released for SHOT Show this year. But I can just tell it's going to be one of those flashlights that you're going to be talking about years from now. Let me know some of your Buy It for Life stuff that you've owned for 5, 10, 15 years, and you can highly recommend it. First time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.